Hello everyone. Today's video is on the first chapter of the history of class 8. That is how, when and where. In today's lecture, we are going to understand the meaning of this title especially and about the dates, the importance of dates. Before we move further, let's try to understand the title of the chapter, that is how, when and where. We know that we are studying history over here. What is history? History is the events that took place in the past is known as history. It could be a minute before, it could be a day before, it could be a year before, and it could be a century before. Okay, the set of events that took place in the past is known as history. Let's take an example. That you are thinking about airplanes, that airplanes are flying in the air. So if we want to find out the history of airplanes, then the first question that will come in your mind that how the people have started making airplanes. Then your very next question would be at which place the discovery of the airplane took place, that is where. And your next question would be when the modification in the airplane took place, that is your when. So when you are asking these three questions, that is how the aeroplanes were discovered, where it was discovered, and when it was discovered, you will get to know the whole history related with it. So this is how the history plays, these three questions plays very important role when we are studying the history. Now to understand how important are dates, let's take an example. This example is given in your text, that in olden time, when the historians were writing history, all of their focus, all of their debates were on the thing about the ruler. Why? Because in the olden time, who was the most important person? The most important person in olden time was the king. And all the focus of the historian was on the life of the king. When did they fought the battle? How many battles they have won? Because in the olden times, king was considered to be the most important person.
I don't like history because it is all about remembering the dates.
But not exactly. Why? Because history is not just all about dates, but we are tracking back the process of development. We are trying to find out that how the things were before and how they have developed in a chronology. It is all about how the change took place over the period of time. And of course, that's why the date is an important part of the history. The world that we are living in did not pre-existed. There are a lot of changes that took place over the period of time, lot of developments that took place during the period of time, so that we are living in today's modern world. We are taking things for granted as if it pre-existed from the ancient time. We never question. Let's start with the very basic thing like your tea. We are seeing that people are drinking the tea in large number in India, in all over the world. But it did not start all of a sudden. We never ask that how people developed their taste for the tea. When did people started making the tea and started drinking the tea? And where did it all started? And where did the people started drinking the tea? We are never asking the question. Let's take another example like your newspaper. We are reading newspaper every day. So the newspaper used to come in printed form. We never ask the question like how in the ancient time the news were passed on and how did it come to the printed form in the newspaper. We never ask the question that when the newspaper have started to be printed, where all these things have begun. Even when we are seeing the railway tracks, and when we are seeing the train, we never ask the question like how it was invented, where it was invented, and when it was invented. If we start asking the question, then we will get to know everything about it. And from here, the history begins. So the history begins with the curiosity, history begins with the question.